the more that vocal fry just kind of kicks in. And so I'll start doing that, which is not helping at all and making it worse.
That's in my house. In my house, I would respond to that by saying, "Stop antagonizing."
Raising a well-behaved child in this world requires strict discipline and punishment. Today, we will look...
No, we will not.
Hello and welcome to Childproof. I'm Gwen Lakeland.
And I'm Tori Phantom. And today's episode goes out to all the parents who feel like their kids will never learn to tie their shoes.
And to all the parents who they are so ready to chuck that binkie so hard into the freaking lake.
Yeah. Today, we're talking about the phases of parenting we never thought we'd get through.
Because sometimes phases feel like they're going to last forever, and you're just going to be sleeping in a king-size bed with a 45-year-old man next to you that is your son.
Right. Sometimes a phase feels like forever, but
forever.
But our episodes don't last forever. So let's start the timer.
All right, fine. So one of the questions that I used to stalwart when we do lives or when I'd have events, one of the questions is, when does this being parenting, get easier? And my answer always used to be, it doesn't. It just gets different.
Yeah.
I'm now modifying that because I'm going through it twice, and twice now I've left what I consider to be the most frenetic stages of being a parent.
Yeah.
My oldest kid graduates high school and moves away in less than a year. She can legally vote in a month.
Wrap my mind around that. Yeah. I think when we became friends, your eldest was my eldest age.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild. Yeah.
She graduates. She's got a solid plan. Like, gears are already turning. I'm confident that while it may not be permanent in this economy, she will, for a time, experience her first flush of independence.
Wild.
So that's happening. And then my littles just turned 7. They're in first grade now. They have achieved a level of independence that gives me time to breathe.
Isn't that?
Because now
it feels like you'll never reach that point when you're in the thick of it with the little ones. You're like, I'm never even going to have a second to go to the bathroom alone. And then suddenly you have hobbies again. Like, what is...
Yes.
It's wild. It's wild.
But parenting does not get easier. It does get better. That does not mean that there are challenges, but a couple things happen. First, you have a lot more experience and practice of being a parent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a huge one. I remember when my eldest was born. I remember I was a teenager and I had never held a baby before. And I remember getting my sweet little angel baby home and thinking, what did I do? Like, I was so afraid of like ruining this child's life. And they're amazing, right? Like, we have a great relationship. They're amazing. They sent me an email from school and they're like, look, I got a perfect score on the standardized test on ELA again, Mom. I like that this test actually gives me things to learn from. I wish that I was challenged more in school. And I was like, please tell this to your teacher. Good job. I love this. You know, like we're good. I didn't mess it up. So good job, past me. But I literally was like, I don't even know how to talk to a baby. So I just talked to them about everything. And you know, but I was like, am I doing it right? And but then you start to get better at it and you start to learn, and then you start to follow their lead and you start to, you know, think about things and consider what you intentionally want to do.
And now you're sitting here listening to two parents talk about parenting on a parenting podcast because you still have a desire to be a better parent than you are now, to be a better parent than the ones that raised you, to be a better parent than the one you used to be, whatever's brought you here. Hi, thanks for being here. We love you.
We love you. Thanks for hanging out.
You get better at being a parent the longer you are a parent. So go ahead and hit the trauma dump button for me.
Trauma dump.
I gave birth and my baby daddy was in jail at the time. He'd gotten arrested for possession a couple days before I went into labor. He was still in jail for possession when I went into labor, and he was still in jail for possession when Abby was born. Now I had a little bit of support around me, so I wasn't completely by myself, but everything went fine. Textbook birth. I was super lucky, and they discharged me a little earlier than expected. And my mom, who had already taken a bunch of days off work, couldn't get off work right then. It was going to be a couple hours. And they're like, well, you have a car, right? And you're cleared to drive. So bye. Because I live in America.
Yeah, right.
So they helped me load her in, and I got in the car, and I'm looking at her in the rearview mirror, and I'm looking at the car, and I'm going, oh, they're just going to send her home with me? Like, this is
Like
just
me?
Like me, all by myself.
I didn't pass a test. Do I have a permit for this? Like,
I'm 23. What do you like? I forgot to pay the water bill last month. Why are you giving me a whole I know it came out of me, but I don't feel like I'm the best one to keep it.
It's so frightening.
Now,
and when you have your first baby, it's like you're like, this is the most fragile little creature, and you're so like afraid.
by the time you're the third baby, you're just holding it by a leg. Where is your binkie, dude?
Literally. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But now I'm 18 years further, and while I am in no way, shape, or form done being her mom, I'm in a place where I get to shift to friend mom, where I am less guide and more mentor, and that's a subtle difference.
Yeah.
We can drop family lore now. So I have been super focused on appreciating the positives, because I tend to be a little pessimistic. I know that's shocking and surprising. And I tend to get a little down on myself and a little like wrapped up, and that makes me moody and bitchy. And it's like, So I have been trying to be really intentional about the things that I'm grateful for. And as my daughter is about to exit the house, and as my littles are really not that little anymore, they're still pretty little. They're just 7. But they're not as little as they used to be. And oh my God, I'm so grateful for that.
Yes. That's,
I'm cured of baby fever. I can officially toot toot. No more baby fever. I have been run through the gauntlet of baby fever trials. I am immune.
Right. And I know, like, you always hear when you're in the thick of it, and there's some well-meaning older person at the grocery store who's like, you're gonna miss this, and you haven't slept in 3 days, and your boob
Someone
is leaking.
else's bodily fluid is across my shirt right now.
You don't know if it's
I don't even
chocolate
know
or
what
poop
bodily
on your
fluid.
hand. And you're like, you don't even remember what you went to the store for. Like, you're in the thick of it, and someone's, you're gonna miss this someday, and you're like, I'm not. And like, I feel like you do hit a point probably when you're an empty nester where you do miss it. But I don't know. I'm not forward thinking in that way. What I am thinking is I am happy that my kids are at the ages they're at. And it is so nice to hang out with them. It's such a shift when you go from like toddlerhood into that preschool age. You start to get a taste of it, and then they get a little older, and they're like, hey, do you want to like watch this show and like come up with theories about it? Yeah, I do want to do that. It's such a shift.
I have 3 in, and I gotta say, there are 3 major like life-changing moments. The first is when they can walk. Because what do you mean I don't have to carry your heavy diaper-clad ass everywhere? Oh my gosh. And that's a mixed bag.
Carrying them. Yeah.
No, it's a mixed bag. But what I liked is I did not like waiting for them to walk everywhere. That was not my favorite part. What I liked is that in a pinch, I could set them down and they did not weeble wobble into concussions anymore.
That's yeah. It was. I feel like that's all of parenting. It's a mixed bag. Because
talking. Oh my gosh, talking is, they don't shut up, but they can also stop. What's wrong? Ah, that was helpful. Thanks.
They have the words, but they won't use them. That phase. Yeah. Like, will you please tell me what's wrong? No. Okay.
And I honestly, done it once working on time number 2. I have not found the downside to this one. When they can read.
I love that.
When they can read.
Unless it's Go Dog Go. I just have a vendetta against that book. Oh,
but like being able to read a menu, being able to read a sign, being able to read a label. Plus, we get to have family time reading books and we can start talking stories. And I've got a collection that I have just been quivering to be able to give my kids because they have to be able to read. We can read it together, but it's just important that you know how to read before we get to these books, okay? And we're almost there. Well, incoherent sounds of reading excitement.
That is one of my favorite parts is when they start reading, and it's so exciting to watch them learn new things. And it's also so exhausting when you're in the I do it myself era.
Yes.
I do it myself. Okay, I can give you a time limit this time. That's where you have to start coming up with like the strangest boundaries you never thought you'd have to. Because it's like, okay, we do need to get out the door. So I know you are trying to learn how to tie your shoe, but we have 7 minutes to get out the door, and I will give you 4 of those to try to tie the shoe yourself.
We always had number of tries per year of age, especially on seatbelt. We were about 3 years old when we decided we could do our own seatbelts, and we very much could not do our own seatbelts because plainly we did not have the muscle strength to push it in the lock. Like, it's not a matter of whether you've got the dexterity, baby. You are not strong enough. The seatbelt needs to be this tight, and you can't do it. I'm so sorry, but I have to let you try. So
I felt like I was never going to get
age. You're 3, you get 3 tries.
I felt like I was never going to get out of the car seat phase. And especially because like I am a firm believer in like the rear facing until they meet the the extent of the seat. Yeah. And especially as that shift was happening really over the last 10 years, right? And you'd have to like argue with people like in family who might take your kids. Well, but they like it better this way. I don't care. Right. I like it better when they are the safest. And just having to move the seat and make sure it's installed. It's so exhausting. You're like, that seat's never moving. I just won't sell this. Like, I'm keeping this car until my kid is out of the car seat. And now I think we're just down to boosters now. Like we just graduated from a high back to a regular booster. It's exciting stuff.
My kids are Jolly Green Giants. I don't know how those genetics worked, but they're just giant children. They're like in 99th
very tall
percentile.
Kids, yes.
Very tall kids.
Very tall kids.
They're in like 99th percentile. And the girl child is one of those gravity shifters where you look at her and you think, okay. And then you pick her up and she weighs 9 times more than you think she should. Mm-hmm. She doesn't look heavy. She's dense, right?
Well, yeah. You've seen my middle-aged who's...
dense.
Yeah. She is like wears the same size as my teenager. And she picks me up now. But I carry her, every now and then I'll still carry her places, and she just latches on like a little koala. And I am sure it looks hilarious. She was having a hard time. We were at a play.
No, I've seen you hold that child.
Yeah.
Those feet are barely off the ground. When she is relaxed on you.
She'll wrap her legs and she just kind of like crisscrosses them behind my back. She's like, I got it. And then I'm hands free. But she's having a hard time. We were at a place and we had to step out into the hall and I'm carrying her. And the usher was like, be careful. Like, I must have looked so comical because we're nearly the same size. And I'm like, oh no, we got this. Like, it's fine.
Old hats is fine.
Yeah.
I was also convinced that my child was never going to grow out of 2 important things. One was mouth fingers. I have of 3 kids, 2 were binkie kids. One just at like 19 months took the binkie out of her mouth, handed it to me, and never wanted it again. I didn't do anything for that. Yeah. She just decided she was done with the binkie life, the pacifier life, if you don't call them binkies. But she just handed it to me. All done. Oh, okay, cool. The other one rejected the binkie pretty easily, and then immediately replaced it with a thumb. And then once we got teeth in and she didn't like how her teeth rubbed her thumb, she started doing fingers and mouth. And we could tell how tired she was by number of fingers in mouth. 1 finger in mouth, Not tired at all. 4 fingers in mouth. Ooh, we missed bedtime, didn't we? that it's bedtime now, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Mine were never binky kids because I was like, well, I'll never have to break them of the binky habit if I never give them one. But that was also a mixed bag. I breastfed. So I became the binky.
I became the pacifier. Keep in mind, for those of you who don't know, I know Tori knows. I'm not telling Tori. Sucking is a calming motion for kids.
Yeah.
Sucking on things makes them feel better. That's why the thumb sucking, the binky,
it's an instinctive thing because of how they feed in that
Right.
first year. It's a comfort.
So if your kid is on a binky, it's not, you didn't do it wrong. Like it's fine.
Yeah. I don't say my kids never took a binky as a superiority thing. It was a choice because I was trying to not have to do the binky thing later. But again, it came with a lot of downsides too.
The other thing that my child, that I was just convinced we were never going to get out of, is something I called melting. But that's where when they got in trouble or when they got news that they didn't want, it would start as like a head tip, and then the shoulders would droop, and then we'd start falling over, and then we just sort of melt in, like walls would be melted down off the furniture. They're just like sliding off of it in a human puddle.
Yeah. Listen, coupled with the whining. The whining thing, where every single thing is like, can we just,
while they're sliding down the wall into a puddle.
And I'm always just, can we please use our normal voices? I can't understand, and I really can't. Like, you hit a certain octave and my ear just hurts. Like, we would routinely say, hey, bones, not optional, find them and put them back. The things you come up with when you're a parent, it's wild. In our house, you know the whining thing when you're like, no, I don't want to. And you have that extra syllable. In our house, it has become a long-standing joke that you can really tell when someone's serious when they add the extra syllable at the end.
I tease my oldest because the more antsy she's getting, the more whiny she's getting, the more overstimulated, the more that vocal fry just kind of kicks in. And so I'll start doing that, which is not helping at all and making it worse.
That's in my house. In my house, I would respond to that by saying, stop antagonizing.
And then this was a hard one for me to sort of navigate because I'm a big fan of crying. Like, it's totally fine to cry, but there are times that crying is a completely valid response. It definitely makes us feel better. It is an important step to do. Yeah. Pain, absolutely. We're not mad that we're crying at pain, but hey, it's time to do your laundry.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, can you pick up your?
The crying is a response to everything.
It's like, this isn't going to get you out of the task you have to do, my friend.
You're actually just wasting both of our time because now we have to calm you down and you still have to do the freaking laundry.
Yeah. That's but the crying as the crying as a pain response where they just get themselves more and more and more worked up, and you believe they're in pain, but like, it's making it worse. And so that's my go-to with that is always slow down. I always, let's slow down, and we're going to slow our breathing, because when we can slow down, it's not going to feel as bad. And I've explained the science to them. They don't particularly care. To be honest, a lot of this stuff, I'm like, here's this really interesting thing. And, I'm used to that response in my life. I get too excited, but it does work. And they get mad that it works. But I understand that feeling on a cellular level.
So I made a mistake. My son was having a meltdown. This has been a long time. My son was having a breakdown about something. I don't even remember what, but this was a couple different of those kid behaviors all stacked on one another. First, kids typically feel everything at level 11. They go from I am fine to I am angry, but they didn't go from I am fine to I am annoyed to I am frustrated to I am mad to I am intolerant to I am aggressively
furious.
frustrated.
Yes.
Yeah. Like we didn't have that. We went from fine to furious just immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're doing the crying in response to everything. We are melting down. Oh, melting down is the wrong term. We are crashing out over things that we do every. You're crashing out because it's bedtime, the same as it is bedtime every single night of your life, and has been since you were 2 and got a big boy bed. This is what we're crashing out on, son.
I asked my kid once, I said, could we skip the fit tonight about bedtime? And she goes, no, I don't think we can.
I don't think we
Well, at least you're honest.
No, it's a requirement. But he was doing something. He melted. He smacked his hand on a piece of trim that we didn't realize had been broken loose. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't injured. He was just hurt. We've since fixed the trim. But that's how we figured out it was not the way it was supposed to be. But he hurt his hand. And then combined with everything else, complete crash out. I mean, snot bubbling out of his nose. Like the
Snot
big
bubbles
globs.
are the bane of my existence.
Snot bubbles are
I
the
can
worst.
handle every gross fluid, but snot for whatever reason, nope.
So he was crying so hard he gagged once. I was like, "We're done." So
See,
I did
that's
the only
yours.
thing-
That's your gross fluid. I couldn't handle the snot. You can't handle the throw up.
Yeah. He gagged himself. I'm like, "We're done." So I did the only thing that I could think of. I tackled him, and I put him in deep pressure. I put his legs in between my legs and I wrapped my calves up over his shins. I took his arms and I crossed them, and he was his back against my chest, and I wrapped him up. I happened to be wearing a sweater, so I grabbed my sweater and wrapped him up in it, and I just I kind of curled up on myself. I was so sore, but I had to deep pressure him. It was the only thing I could think of to end all of the simultaneous
to our
fits
listeners,
happening.
if you don't know about deep pressure, this is actually a real thing, and it can be on specific joints. It could be like a big whole body bear hug. Like look into it. It is a very good co-regulation tool, especially with little ones. It's that's
my
what we've
son was
used
a
a lot.
bit bigger than deep pressure was because he's also just a giant kid. But I messed up because it worked. We got him calmed down. We got it fixed up. We worked through the issue. We got the laundry done, and it was okay. It was just sort of a trifecta of all the bad things happened to his brain all at the same time. And then he had trouble. He got so not just unregulated. He was like hyper unregulated. Like nothing in his brain was firing or connecting correctly. He couldn't hear English. He couldn't feel anything. It was all just haywire.
Yeah.
The next time he gets a little upset, he goes, "Mom, can I have a hug?" Yeah. Can I have a turtle hug? What is a turtle hug? He wanted deep pressure. I was like, yeah, we can do that. It's not fun for me to give deep pressure because it's a lot of core. It's a workout to give full body hug to a child that comes up to your sternum. Like he's huge. Okay.
Yeah. I love turtle hug. That's so cute. That's we talk a lot about feelings at our house. Because we do it in the feeling. I love using the feelings wheel. Let's label this feeling to the highest level of specificity, kids. But we've talked a lot about it, and we do that when we're feeling good because it is way easier than when you're dysregulated trying to figure out what you're feeling or what to do about it. But one day my kiddo had said to me, I don't feel mad anymore, but I don't feel happy yet. I don't know. I don't understand. I said, ooh, that's because that's not how feelings work. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, we don't replace feelings one after another. You could have multiple feelings at the same time, and they don't even have to make sense together. And then what I did is I have a dimmer switch on my light in my office. And so I said, some feelings, they kind of grow. They're already on, right? Like maybe you're happy, but then something happens and you kind of get happier, more excited. And this is going to go up, right? But then something bad happens and then bam, now we don't feel happy. Bam. Now we feel really, really, really sad. And it came on at full brightness. And so now our goal is to dim the sadness, right? We don't want to just bam, turn it off because that's pushing our feelings down. And we
Right.
should feel our feelings. We don't want to do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to use our tools. We're going to use our resources that we know can help us. And that's going to dim it a little bit. And if it is dimmed and you're not feeling it at full brightness anymore, but you haven't gotten to hit the switch for happy again, that's okay, because we don't get to control which light switch comes on, unfortunately, but we can control their brightness.
We have recently really been discussing what it is to feel neutral. I don't want to use the term nothing because nothing could indicate something else. If you're really not feeling anything, if you feel really numb, that's not great. We should definitely be feeling feelings.
If we feel numb, that's when we explore therapy and we go and we find help. Yes.
Right. Feeling nothing, feeling numb, not a flex.
Yeah.
Feelings are sort of like the human condition. If you're not feeling any of those, it's time to reach out for some help.
Yes.
But there is feeling neutral. Like right now, as I said, I am feeling neutral. I'm neither happy nor sad. I'm neither frustrated nor angry. I'm anxious, but that is just part of my neutral.
Same. Same.
But like right now, as I fit, even though I have things that I am concerned about, I have things on my to-do list. I have things that are unanswered questions, and I really don't like unanswered questions. I don't think anybody likes unanswered questions. Like, even with all of that going on, right now, I am in a neutral position. I could go in any direction. And so the way we explained it is we got the feelings wheel that we stole from Tori. We got the feelings wheel. And I was like, sometimes the very, very, very best place to be is right here in this gold dot. And we have a gold brad that holds them together because ours has a little shifter. So you can move the window into, here's the base feeling. How do we get more specific as the wheel goes up? Sometimes the very, 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 very coolest place to be emotionally is in this little gold circle where you could go in any of the directions you wanted to. And you could go, do you want to feel happy? What things make you feel happy? Going outside? Okay, let's go play outside. Do you want to feel a little bit sad? Because believe it or not, sometimes you want to feel some sad. Yeah. Because after the sad comes the dopamine. Of you making yourself feel better. So, okay, let's go watch. I watch Steel Magnolias when I want to feel sad because the graveyard scene makes me sob every time.
I like that just everybody has the one thing where we're like, that one will totally bring on the tears.
It will wreck me every time.
Yeah.
But like sometimes we want to feel sad and that's okay. Let's go listen to a sad song. Oh, you want to read the book where the dolphin dies? Okay, yeah, we can go read the book where the dolphin dies because then you feel really good because she finds the baby dolphin and she gets to take care of the baby dolphin the same way she took care of the other dolphin. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's good to feel sad sometimes because when we make ourselves feel sad, we practice making ourselves feel not sad. So when something really sad happens, we have good ways to remind ourselves how to get out of being sad.
And it's like
that's
a
all stuff we do
healthier way.
offline.
Yeah. And it's like a healthier way to build resilience. Not healthier, but it's an easier way. I won't say healthier.
Yeah.
It's an easier because the sadness that you experience when you go into a sad media in a neutral way, it is a different type of sad that isn't as it's a different type of sad that is easier to navigate because it is just in this one specific spot. It's not
I can stop the
everywhere.
sad by closing the book or turning the movie off or if this is something that I've already like I know at the end of Steel Magnolias, I know what happens. I know it doesn't get all the way better, but she's surrounded by friends and family and she has the ability to grieve and cope with what happened. I don't know why I'm trying to avoid spoilers for Steel Magnolias as if someone maybe has not seen a 45-year-old movie.
I've not
You're
seen
not
it.
going to watch it.
Well, if it's going to make me cry, I might, okay?
The graveyard scene will end you. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't
Maybe
know
I'll
a
add
single
it to
person. Just watch the graveyard scene. You don't have to watch
you
the whole
need
thing.
context.
No, you really don't.
Oh, okay.
Not for
Cool.
that.
All right.
But yeah, so we talk a lot about feeling neutral. It's okay that you can't name what you're feeling right now because you might not really be feeling anything nameable. You're just in the middle of all your emotions.
Yes. That gray area it's such an interesting place to try to explain to kids. And I did it with the dimmer switch. Like, we could be right in the middle. And the other thing that I do is with that, you could have two feelings at once, and it doesn't have to make sense. And that's something that I've talked to, especially with my kiddo who has some pretty significant anxieties. And well, I feel anxious about going to do this. Okay, yes, we can be anxious and we can have fun. We can be anxious and we can be excited. We can be anxious and we can be successful at this thing. Two things can be true. And because we know that we might be more anxious, we just have to have a plan if it gets to be too much. If the anxiety is overtaking the other thing, it might be time to go. And that's okay. So long as we know and we're being aware of it and we're honoring our feelings. Like, it's a tricky space to navigate. We were talking about things that were phases with our kids, about things and now we're just like deep into the feelings wheel. I love that for us.
Here, there are a lot of things that I'm so glad. I don't miss diapers. I don't miss diapers. Not even a little bit.
No. I do miss having baby wipes on hand. And I know a lot of people, they still just keep them on hand. But because I don't need them, I don't think about buying them.
Correct. Well, and there's also, listen, this is not how it works. But in my head, because I grew up with a boomer, if you don't need it, leave it for someone else who does. The math doesn't math there, but I'm gonna roll with it. That's why I don't buy baby wipes. Not in today's day and age. Like, but also, I'm not gonna contribute to any potential scarcity because I don't need them. I will leave them for the people that still truly do need them.
Yes.
So, like, it's not correct, but it's what it's like in my head. But there are some things that, even still, I know. They will grow out of it. They will learn how to do it themselves. It will no longer be something that I am responsible for. And yet, my daughter is 7, and she is the girl. She is competing with one of your children and many others out in the world for the title "Girliest Girl Ever to Girl."
Yes.
Loves being pretty. Loves being beautiful. Loves.
Mine wore like 3 necklaces and 2 bracelets to school the other day, and they had to be coordinated to the outfit. And I love learning about these things with her.
We have glitter spray that we put on every single day. It's just the Bath and Body Works stuff.
We have Care Bear lip gloss now.
Oh, very nice.
Fancy.
Very nice.
It's scented. We don't put on too much ever.
My daughter also likes putting on her makeup. I'm like, where'd you come up with that? And keep in mind, her makeup is just one of the old playthings that I put sunscreen in all the little pads.
That's actually brilliant. I love that.
And then I put just a little bit, like literally just a skosh of my high quality eyeshadow. It cannot be seen, but it does tint the sunscreen. Just get the balm kind and just sort of scrape it off and put it in the pats, and then sprinkle some eyeshadow on the top, and then she's just putting eyeshadow on her, or she's putting sunscreen on herself.
That's incredible.
That's what I do. Anyway, but she likes having her hair done. And this is the first year that she's like, Mom, can I have clips in my hair? Mom, can I have ponytail? Mom, can I have half ponytail? Mom, can I have double ponytail? Mom, can I have braid? I can do all those things. Not very well. I'm never going to get those perfectly smooth, perfectly straight parts. I'm sorry.
See, I have the opposite problem because I'm a perfectionist about it, and I can do hair really well. I taught myself to French braid on Bratz dolls in 2002. And I want it perfect. And my kid's like, I don't care if it's perfect. I'm like, if I'm doing it, I'm going to do it well.
I do it the best I can, but I had to alleviate myself of the perfection, or we're never going to leave.
Yeah.
So I cannot stand doing hair, not just her hair. Obviously, I do her hair, but I do not like it. It is fine to admit that you don't like doing stuff you do every damn day for your children. Because
Yeah.
what's important is you are still doing it because it is important to them. It is valuable to them. It is how you show your appreciation because the love a parent carries for their child is not conditional.
Mm-hmm.
I will do her damn hair and I do the best I can. And I look up new ways to do it. And I got the little edge brush thing so I could get her as smooth as I can. It's not going to be perfect, but I am trying to improve and I hate it.
You're going to be so good at it by the time that she's doing her own hair.
But that's the thing is in my head, I'm like, I'm going to be, she's going to be 37 and have to come over before work so I can do her damn hair. That's not how it works. She will learn to do it herself eventually.
Yeah.
She's already started a little bit of experiment and we're still at a point where I'm like, maybe don't experiment without me standing there because I think getting a brush caught in your hair is kind of like a must experience of childhood. Did you get a brush stuck in your hair?
Absolutely.
As a child?
I feel like didn't happen as much for me there because my hair is not as thick as yours. You have such thick hair. Yeah.
If you're watching this on the video, my hair is significantly darker than the last episode you watched because the night before we recorded this, I dyed my hair. My hair, when it's straight, is down to just past my collarbone. It took me 3 boxes of Walmart box dye that you can buy at Walmart. So I didn't go to Sally. 3 boxes to dye this hair. That's how much I have. It does not look like it on camera, but it's a lot of hair.
It used to take me several boxes when my hair was like several feet long. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's this is where I'm at is a very exciting point is my littlest can now brush her own hair. And that is because for no other reason than she decided to chop most of it off because she had very, very, very long hair. And she'd been considering cutting it for a bit. And I was like, well, if you cut it, you could donate it. Like, your hair is long enough. And she's like, donate it. And she had a lot of questions. And I explained what donating it was for and how we do it and what it is like. And then, she'd ask questions over a few weeks. And then she comes to me one day and goes, Mom, I want to donate my hair. I think I want to do that now. And I was like,
ready
cool.
to make the chop.
And then I was like, do you want to go to the haircut place? And she's like, no, I like when you cut my hair because all of my children insist that I cut their hair because they think I do a really good job and it's easier. And they, it's a more comfortable experience. But the whole time now I've been cutting my own hair for 5 years. I get so much anxiety because I'm like, I'm going to mess this up and they will never forgive me, which is not even true. Like it's just hair. But I'm like, I will scar this child with a crooked haircut. They love every haircut I give them. That's why they keep coming back. They don't pay, not great clients. Not going to lie. I don't know why they don't even tip.
They don't even tip.
They don't even tip.
Freeloaders.
Yeah.
Entitled.
I know.
What, do you want me to give you a snack too? God.
We're going to watch your show while I cut your hair. But it's a fun thing to do. Like, it is a good, time for us to have that one-on-one time. But I would be lying if I said that I did it with any sort of confidence. Like, I'm not there yet. I am like, I get so nervous about it, but it works out.
See, I fully understand because I cut my own hair. I do. I cut my own bangs. I cut my own layers in my hair because I perm my hair and I don't trust anybody to not mess it up. If I mess it up, that's on me. If you mess it up, that's your fault.
If you mess it up and I had to pay for it, that's disappointing.
No. So I cut my own hair. Totally fine with it. I won't cut my kids' hair because I cannot get past the anxiety of I've had bad haircuts. I've given myself bad haircuts. I've walked out of salons with bad haircuts. I cannot get past my anxiety of you're going to be so upset if I mess this up. The only exception is right now, my son has a half mohawk, so it only goes to the crown of his head because he has cowlicks that go to war with one another. So it can't go all the way down his head, but it stops at the crown of his head and he's just got the strip. I will maintain that because that is just pull to the side and straight buzzer.
Yeah.
No fades, no lines, not making anything crispy. And now it's shorter. Congrats. Except that strip in the center, which is still taller.
That's my kiddo told me that they don't trust anyone but me to really understand what it is that they're looking for and what they like. And I was like, this is the highest compliment I've ever received. And the pressure is now significantly higher.
Listen, you thought it was a compliment. Thanks for that, though.
Yeah. But I did a good job.
So my kids brush their teeth independently, which is another one that I thought, like, I'm just going to be forever.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, they brush their teeth. They brush them pretty well. We're cavity free still. That's cool. They brush them pretty well, but I finally alleviated myself a massive struggle. I do not have toothpaste all over my bathroom.
That sounds fake.
Because I don't let my kids dose out their own toothpaste. The toothpaste lives in the living room with us. And every night they come out and we put the correct pea-size amount of toothpaste on their brush. And then they go brush their teeth. And then they come back out and we put another pea-size. So the brush is preloaded and then it goes in its little clippy case.
Oh, that's...
So
I'm gonna have to try that.
We preload the brushes at night. So then when they get up, they're what we've taught them to do for their morning routine.
They're good at rinsing the sink after spitting because that crustiness that'll build up if they forget to like rinse it real good. And you're like,
no, I don't have clumps of green toothpaste. I do have toothpaste like crust
film.
all over my sink. Yeah, I've got the film everywhere. No, they don't rinse that. They don't. Tori, they're 7 and they belong to me.
That's fair. Yeah.
I saw a video of a woman who called herself a therapist say, stop letting your kids be weird. And my reaction is...
I saw that and I don't often get heated at random internet strangers.
Like, stop letting your kids be weird. I'm like,
it's
how
really
am I
weird that you
to...
said that. Like,
listen, what do you want me to do? Look at me. No. Look at me. Look at the life that look at who I am as a person and explain to me how you want them to not be weird.
I couldn't have made not weird children. In our house, we consider it a compliment. Like my kids will do something weird and I'm like, that's really weird. And they're like, thank you.
Well, and normalcy is such a subjective experience. What is normal?
Exactly.
Children living in Ghana have a very different definition of children living in Colorado. Children living in Colorado have a very different definition of normal than children living in Brooklyn. That's the same country.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing that we always come back to as well is like, man, what a boring world we'd live in if everyone was the same.
Right.
How boring would that be?
Normalcy is one thing.
I don't want
understanding social convention. That's important. Sometimes we understand convention to jazz rule it. To like, all right, I understand how that works for everyone else. I am choosing not to participate, which means I either don't go to these places or I just know that people are going to look at me.
Right.
I will have to be perceived.
Going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be perceived. I understand this.
Right. And I think that's a more important conversation to have with your kids as like, no, you have free will and autonomy here.
Yeah.
And here is the social conventions and the way people could react. And you have to decide if you care. Mine don't, because I don't.
My eldest and I had to have that conversation with dress code and style. You can wear whatever you want, kid. I'm not going to tell you no, as long as we're following the reasonable dress code rules. Dress codes exist for a reason. And as long as they are being reasonable about the boundaries they have drawn. And I was super proud of my daughter's school. They do not allow any of the student athletes to work with their shirt off. They have to have a shirt covering themselves at all times. And that includes the boys.
I love that.
This is fair.
That's good.
If we're going to apply a rule, equilateral application. If the girls can't work out in their sports bras, the boys can't work out in their pecs.
Yeah. That's, like there's always like the spaghetti strap rule or like you have to have like the 3-finger width of the
dress codes are probably... Us complaining about dress codes are probably their own episode. But for the eldest, I was like, you can wear what you want. but show me what you want. And then we'll discuss. Okay, so this particular outfit, these people, these types of people, these kinds of people, or this group that we are specifically aware of may have thoughts about it. Yeah, you can show your belly button and go to the community supper hosted over at the Methodist Church.
Mhm.
But what do you think some of those little old Methodist ladies will say? Are you cool with them saying that? Do you know how you would want to respond? Or is that just not a battle you feel like fighting? Because if it's not a battle you feel like fighting today, just put on a longer shirt, babe.
Yeah. and I think that's part of it too, is how do you feel about it today? Today, because sometimes we're like, oh, I don't have a spoon, but I'm here to stir the pot. And some days it's like, I don't have
a spoon. I can't get out of bed.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's in our house, when it comes to being normal or weird or what, like for us, it is a discussion of, yes, how do we feel today? And when it comes to, the video we talked about 10 minutes ago now, I was not done with that one as a person. That for me, I don't want to raise my kids to be normal. I want to raise them to be respectful and empathetic and understanding and aware.
Yeah.
But normal is never a goal. As much as obedience isn't a goal, it's respect and empathy and awareness.
Yeah.
Is it a timer? That was like a good speech there. Like, what a good way I'm proud of me for that.
It's almost like you've been reading a whole bunch of founding fathers and the way they talk. So thank you so much for listening to Founded, available on every podcast network we could find. Thank you for listening to this episode of Childproof and for your support on Founded Bibliophage. You're going to see some changes coming up very, very soon. In fact, when we stop recording this, we have to go have fancy big kid meetings.
Yeah, so fancy.
They sent us an email and they're like, hey, Aardvark Snarfblatt Armadillo? And we went, yeah, we know what those words mean.
Yeah, we can Google. But we are so happy that you're here, and be sure to leave a rating, review, and comment on all of the podcast. It really does help.
We want to hear from you. Please email us at childproofmail@gmail.com with questions, suggestions, hopes for topics, or just random things you think we ought to know about. We really do read those emails all the time. And it's coming up on another email roundup sooner rather than later. Probably within the next few episodes, we get to do an email roundup. So if you would like to be included on Childproof, again, that email address is childproofmail@gmail.com.
You finally got it. Proud of you.
I did. And remember, sometimes our kids are the assholes.
And sometimes it's us.
It's definitely the lady who said, don't let your kids be weird.
And the people who are offended by someone having a belly button. The horror!